Good morning, you guys. How are you? Right. Well, we might have a little group this morning, which is good because I just made this decision. I'm pretty impulsive, and I went ahead and I was thinking about the giveaways, and I thought usually I send books to people. So usually, people chat me and they tell me if they win which herbal book they want, and then I ship them a book from Amazon. But I decided for this round just last night, actually, to just do Amazon gift cards. So I'm going to give out 3 randomly. Joe's actually in the other room that's why I'm showing up twice here. So he's here too. And he's going to end up just putting people's names in a hat and pulling out 3 randomly. And the winners are going to get a $25 Amazon gift card so that you can buy whatever herbal book you like. So I thought that might be easier for everybody and an easier way to get the book. And then for people who can't make it to this today, which I totally understand, it's a Saturday, it's springtime, we're all busy, right? We'll be picking 2 people out of the group too. So I just want to say, if you didn't win today and you're here, and if you want to post in the group as well, pictures and or a video of what you've got going on with your apothecary, you'll be entered twice. So anyway, I just thought that would be easier and better, and I can give more prizes that way too. So, all right. So more people are coming on. This is good. So let's go ahead, and I just want to say congratulations to you guys. It's the end of the 3rd round of Ditch the Drugstore. And I just feel like a lot of progress has been made on your apothecaries from what I've seen. And for those of you who are doing this round after doing the 1st round or the 2nd round or both, I would love to know where your apothecaries are right now after the time spent and everything. So for this graduation, you guys, what I'd really love us to do is just share. So you can unmute yourselves whenever you're ready to. And I know that it's kind of scary to share for some people. I know it was for me. It still is for me, actually. If I'm in a group, I generally don't say a word unless I'm called on to say a word. So I have to almost be forced, like in these business groups and things. However, I just want to say this is such a safe group, and I would love for you guys to show us or talk about your apothecary and just what's come out of this for you. So I think that would just be really neat. And Linda, you've got your hand up.
I shared with you before, but I'll share with everyone now. I didn't do any mixing and fixing yet because we got a greenhouse.
Yeah.
We planted 12 or 14 herbs and 12 or 14 veggies. So I'm starting from the ground up, you might say.
Yeah.
And I'm going to raise my own herbs.
That's awesome. And you know what? So you're kind of going at this more from almost a self-reliance perspective, where you don't need to purchase your herbs at all. And yeah, and that's really great. How is there anybody else who's here right now? And I should ask this in the bigger group too, but is anybody else, do you guys have that focus in mind as well? Yeah?
Absolutely.
Good. Yeah. It's the best way to go. We've seen what's been happening with the supply chains and everything, and all the stuff.
I'm also trying to grow as many as I can. We had a really late winter. Usually our frost is over by the middle to 3rd week of April, and we had freeze warnings up into the middle of May. So that kind of put a little glitch in getting started, but I have several things growing and I hope to have more.
Oh, good. That's great. I know our winter's lasting forever too. I was hoping to do this outside today. It was so beautiful yesterday. I'm like, yay, I can go outside and do this outside. And no, we're socked in with rain and cold right now. It just came in overnight. But yeah, the weather has a lot to do with it. I just want to encourage you guys, if you're growing things, number one, don't get discouraged if you have a rough gardening year or two. It happens every single garden. And if you're a longtime gardener, you know this. But every single year is going to be very different from the other years, and you learn your little lessons along the way. And if you happen to have a really good gardening year, one thing I've learned over all the years is to try not to let anything go to waste, because you don't know if the next year is going to be rough or not. So preserve all you can, and just, even if it feels like you're over preserving, and of course it's great to give things away too, but we actually try to have things stocked up for even a couple of years, certain things, not everything. But herbally speaking, I feel more comfortable if I over preserve, because you can always compost if it goes bad, right? It's always going to be useful. Anyway, just a little tip on that. But yeah, Roxana.
Well, I just wanted to say last year, well, it was actually in 2020, I had graduated from herbalism school, and they were talking a lot about wildcrafting.
Yes.
And I have a sister-in-law, and she had these beautiful yellow flowers in the front. I mean, she has quite a bit of property. And she was telling me, that she was going to cut all these beautiful yellow flowers. And I looked, and it was yarrow.
Oh.
And I said, wait a minute. And so if you have a neighbor, a family member, a friend, and I was like, let me come and do some wildcrafting. Sometimes you don't have to go out someplace extravagant or, into the woods. You could just go to a family member. And she said, what is that? She said, I mean, it's just a flower. And I said, no, it's a medicinal flower. And I said, I want to, share with you and talk to you. She said, I can't believe you can make medicine out of that. So
Yeah.
at the same time, she said, take it all. We cut it down every year because it grows wild.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
And yeah, I had a huge box, a cardboard box in the back of my seat. And then she said, what about all this? She had lamb's quarter. She had wild peppermint. And I was just sitting there just like, oh my goodness. And she said, take all my roses. And of course, she's an organic person like I am. So I felt very confident that, and she said, we just cut this back at the end of the season every year. And I was like, praise the Lord. I was like, thank you so much. And she just freely gave everything. And she said, you could come do this every year. And of course that encouraged me. We dug it up by the root, and it just gave me free starters.
Yeah.
And I was like, thank you. She said, this is just such an annoyance to me. And she said, she just wants the pretty stuff. She don't care about medicinally anything. And I said, can I please bring you like a salve in case you might? And I said, I'll make you a yarrow salve. And she's like, okay. I mean, it just doesn't bother me. She goes, I don't really care about that. And so it seemed like the more I wanted to talk about it, she didn't really care. And I was like, okay, all right, I'll just be quiet. But yeah, they wanted to know later, maybe to drink some tea or something like that. But it was I was like, this is awesome. And I just felt like I got blessed from the Lord. But yeah, I was,
Roxana, I'm so glad you shared that experience, because I think most of us who end up starting to use herbs for medicinal purposes, haven't we all experienced that, where we start talking with people and trying to share with them the bounty that they have at their fingertips, and they're just not interested. And I think part of it's because everything is just too easy in the world. Everything
Yeah.
easy to go to the drugstore. It's just too easy to not know.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm so proud of you for this because I'll tell you what, you guys being here and you guys learning about herbalism and how to use the plants medicinally, you are giving yourself such a wonderful bunch of knowledge, I guess, knowledge
Yeah.
that can be passed down. It's priceless. And I say that from my own experience. I just, my goodness, if I had poo-pooed that book, and I almost did, and if I hadn't been in this desperate place, and if I hadn't been highly motivated to start learning, I never would be here right now. And
Yes.
and it almost makes me want to cry sometimes because it is such a blessing, and then you can share it with others. And so
Yeah.
I'm always really patient with people, and I always just hope that they will see the light at some point
Wow.
and and start asking questions and start learning. And I think herbalism is spreading. I mean, it is definitely
Yes.
spreading. It's not spreading super fast, and definitely there's a lot of woo woo and stuff in it which turns some people away. Like, if you're a believer, we immediately see witchcraft and go, oh no. But I think the more we can talk about it, the more we can share, the more we can say, hey, like you did, Roxana, try this salve, or like Shell shares all the time. And I know you guys do too. Everybody does. But I think the more we can start bringing people into this and just helping, I just think it's so powerful. But you're giving yourself a gift. Oh, Lydia needs, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't even plug in my mic. Oh dear. Sorry. I don't know if I even can't. Well, let me go get my little ear things. Oh, sorry, Lydia. Guess I better look at the chat. Joe just came in and said, Lydia needs the mic turned up. I'm sorry. I guess I better turn my chat on.
Oh gosh, sorry. I just got all excited there. I'm sorry. Can you guys hear me better now? Is this better?
It's okay.
Awesome. Oh gosh. Okay. Anyway, Shell? Oh, good. Are you muted? I can't hear you. Can you guys hear Shell?
No.
Oh, okay. Because I thought it's got to be on my end. It usually is. Are you working on it, Shell? Okay. Well, go ahead and type in the chat or just keep working on it, and we'll have others share in the meantime. But yeah, and also along the lines of what Roxana said too, if you have neighbors who garden, yes, please reach out to them. I happened to stop into one of a neighbor's home. I rarely visit their home because it's on the back side of our mountain. It's a little bit of an effort to get there. But we were taking a drive back there and decided to stop in, and she was pulling out all this lemon balm and with a very angry look on her face. And she's like, I hate this stuff. And I'm like, that's lemon balm. It was the same kind of experience. And I said, what else do you have growing back here? And then she told me stands of nettle, mushrooms, the morels. And I'm like, oh man, I got to get back there. And her husband's like, yeah, come on back anytime. So now I just need to find the time. But yeah, Shell, we couldn't hear you. Yeah, not at all. Are you on your computer? And did you unmute yourself? I'm showing that you're muted. Yeah, I'm showing you're unmuted now. How weird. And I'm looking to see if there's anything I can do. There's nothing in the little thing.
Tell her to go out and come back in.
Oh, good idea. Try that. All right. In the meantime, who else wants to share what they've been doing? Or you could, if you're on a computer, you can just like show us your apothecary, or if you're on a phone, just show us your apothecary. Or who else has thoughts about this whole process?
I've got
Yeah.
something to add.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Charlene, yes. And then
Okay.
Tanae, we'll have you talk next. Okay.
Well, I ordered, excuse me, I ordered some plants from that Love Light Herb because you were showing yours and they look so nice, and I thought, well, I'll try them out. But that's where I'm going with it also, is to try to raise my own. But I posted it in the group and pictures of it because everything came unmarked.
I know. Yeah, that was the downside.
And I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm getting these plants to really learn more about them, what they look like as they're growing, so that I might be able to recognize them in the wild. And here I got that many plants unmarked, and I'm like, now what do I do? But I finally, after I ran it in my head for a while, I did email them, and they've done the best to identify by me taking pictures of each one, and they're telling me what they are. But
Oh, good.
yeah,
Yeah.
I just want to share that. I've got several oils going and some teachers, and I've made, I don't have any pictures, but I've made a couple of salves, the calendula salve and the plantain salve, because I raise honeybees, so I wanted something for my stings.
Oh, yeah.
So
That's right. Yeah.
But anyway, I did want to share that about the plants, that, if you do reach out to them, they will try to tell you what they are. So.
That's really good to know. Yeah, I know when I got mine, they weren't marked either. But I've grown valerian before, and I've grown hyssop before, and I kind of, the only one I wasn't familiar with was spilanthes. So I'm just, and I've learned this too over the years. When you're like planting seeds, have you guys ever planted seedlings and you lost all your markers for some reason, or maybe the pen smeared everywhere? It's like, and you lose your markers. Yeah, that's happened to me more than once. I'm ashamed to say, because you're supposed to learn from your mistakes, right? But but the thing is that if you let the plant grow up a little bit, and so you can see the mature leaves, a lot of times you can get a positive identification after a bit of time too. So it's not hopeless.
Yeah, I've got some seeds going now, but they're not big enough to really tell what they are. They kind of all look the same when they first start popping up.
They do. They're all little tiny baby plants, and they all kind of look alike.
Yeah, they do.
And then, okay. Tanae, do you want to go ahead and share?
Sure. I feel like I'm way behind, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and come back for the next round.
Okay.
I just barely got some herbs that I was able to order, and then I had some mullein and mallow that I had dried last year, so they're not as fresh, but now it's starting to pop up again. So I'm gonna probably use some higher proof alcohol and tincture some fresh mullein, if that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Okay. And the only things that I've done so far, I've used some diffuser blends. I had a good practice opportunity. My daughter caught a spring cold, and so I used some diffuser blends, and then she had a cough, and I made the onion and honey, because I had a red onion and I had honey, and it worked great. Unfortunately, I didn't think of it until 2 nights of not sleeping because of her coughing. But the third night was wonderful. So that was a good learning experience. And I don't have any to show you because it's gone now. But so is her cough. So that was great. and then the two things I've made I made a couple rollers. I only have two of them right here. And I just use the little labels that are like the mailing labels. And I made the super headache blend with oils. And then I made one that I don't think is in your book. It's kind of one that I've come up with that works really well for sore throats. And it's sandalwood, tea tree, and lemon. And it's one of the few things that I'll use sandalwood for. It seems to work really well for that.
Do you rub it on
then-
your throat? Tanae, do you rub that one on your throat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
When you very first start to feel a sore throat, and usually it'll kind of keep things calm down and not get bad. So yeah. And then the other thing that I've done, this is my first tincture, which is a cottonwood bud
Nice. It's beautiful.
tincture, and it looks like, I don't know if you can see the color, but it is just,
Yeah.
it's
It
really
looks
cool.
strong. Yeah.
Yeah. So I did that, and then I did I just went out and harvested a tiny bit of the buds. I noticed they were ready on a walk, and so I just grabbed some and stuck them in a bag that I had in my pocket. So
You
and
must
then
have got
I
them at
made
the right time,
some
because that's a
oil.
beautiful tincture. Oh, good.
Yeah, so and it smells so good. I really love the smell. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to using some of that, and then yeah, that's all I have right now. But
You know,
I'm
and
excited.
that's really great. That's where, you know what, you're in the perfect spot and you're never behind. The thing is, it's like I think having the little practice round, like you called it, with your daughter's cough and sore throat, those kinds of things that happen, they're going to happen. They'll continue to happen. Like somebody will get sick, or a neighbor will call, and all of a sudden it makes you think, well, what do I have? Do I have something for that? And then all of a sudden you're like, okay, add it to the list. And then you get it prepared, and it's something that's now ready to go. So these are opportunities to really like start thinking about what you've got. One thing I want to suggest to you guys too is get a notebook, and I have a notebook, and it's just got labeled A through Z, and it's for protocols. So it's like kind of like my idea book. So if somebody has a cough, here are the ideas for the cough. And after all these years, can you believe I'm just starting this now? I've got protocols in my head, and I've got my herbal, totally unorganized notebooks and journals that are just very random. And I thought, why didn't I do this years ago? Why didn't I sit down and make a protocol book? And when I work with clients, I've got their intake sheets, and I have their write-ups, but it's for them. And it's like, but there are so many general things that we can have on hand and just know to do. So so start a book like that for your family. Start a protocols book if you think that's a good idea. And then that way it's at your fingertips. You're not going, on the spur of the moment. What do you do for that? It's just something to consider. All right, Shell, let's see if we can hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yay, yes.
I was just going to say that I think when you grow your own herbs as well, not only do you get that lovely feeling, but I think they seem to be more powerful, and the full relationship that you have with the process. I really love that. I mean, I'm new to gardening, and I can feel I'm slightly improving from last year, but I'm loving it, and I love it when I've been able to use my own stuff.
Yes.
But I think what I wanted to share was, obviously, I've got a bit of a home apothecary because I'm in the tribe, but this is just really, I'm finding it a bit difficult because it's just been so amazing, this Ditch's drugstore. It's really been a call to action, and it's really made me have to think in a different way. But I've had to give some products out. So I've made what people have asked me for or what they've previously asked me for and I didn't have ready. So that's why my packaging and my labeling has been the way it has, because I'm giving it out and I want people to feel okay and empowered. I'm not expecting them when they get, so I've focused on first aid, hoping that everybody needs that. And also I've made specific products, like I say, for what people have already asked, and some I've given out. I've made quite a few. So I made the cold sore balm for my grandson Harry. I've made quite a lot of things. I didn't manage to achieve my calamine lotion because my iron oxide hasn't come. My vapor rub, I tried to make a fast infusion and I really wasn't happy with it. And me and my friend tried it yesterday and I'm sacking it. I'm sorry I've wasted essential oils, but I need to do it with my normal infused essential oil. It didn't have any oomph in it.
Did you, Shell, did you put the essential oils in while the oil was?
No, I do my
No.
I do my temperature for them to make sure it's safe. I've also still got to do, I bought some little tubs like the eye infection ones. I bought some freezer paper and some cotton wool pads. So I'm cutting some of those out. I'm putting them in plantain tea and then I'm freezing them in the freezer. And I've called them clean cut circles so they can get one of those out of the freezer if they've cut themselves and it's already ready. But I'm a bit behind with that. But I think because my family, I've acknowledged how far I've come regarding ditching pharma since I've been doing the herbs and the oils. I've managed to give up so many medications. I think to myself now, I had no antibiotics last year. I feel like I feel really empowered, and I feel this course is absolutely, I think this should be everybody's first course, if I'm honest, because it really organises your mind. It gets your apothecary together. And like I say again, I think it's important that they're labelled so I know, you know what they are and people know what they're using. And you're not just making them just for yourself, because I've made them for other people. I know they think I'm a bit woo-woo, and I know when they get them, I think they're going to be a bit underwhelmed. I do, but I'm anticipating that. But I think when they come to use them and they see that they actually work and they can trust them, I think then they will start to appreciate them and they will become invaluable. That's my hope and my prayer.
Yes,
Anyway.
I love what you said about that. So there's a couple things I think that you said that I just want to kind of bounce off of. The first one is compliance. When we give our products to others and they're looking at them like askance, like what is this, or maybe it's just a little odd or whatever, but it's disappointing to us as herbalists when they don't use the products. And I've had that experience over and over and over too. It's like, here, this will work, try it. And they don't want to, especially when it comes to my own adult children. They've got a couple that are just like, no. And then I've got another couple that are like, yeah, bring it on. But it is disappointing. And I think again, as we're kind of in this weird little place where we know something that they don't know. And I don't know about you, but have you ever run across a person who does not want to know anything about what they don't already know? They're just really closed-minded. So I think we just need to be patient with those people and be an example for them, because I know when I share with people that, hey, I haven't had to buy that stuff for over 10 years. I haven't had to have a prescription medication for over 10 years. And when you can start being that person to in their eyes, it's pretty powerful. And you can say, it's because I learned how to make a tincture or make a salve or make a roller bottle that really works. but it is empowering, Shell, so much. And I would just say, just keep trying. And then the other thing that you mentioned was, yeah, the Ditch the Drugstore should be the first course over and above the tribe. That's actually why I was really frustrated last spring. And I think the first round of Ditch the Drugstore was last June, I think, of 2021, June or July. It might have been, I think we started it up in end of June because my stepdad died right after that. And it was just really, it was a rough time. But what I realized when I thought about creating Ditch the Drugstore was that I had all these people in the tribe, and some of them had been in the tribe for 2 years, and I wasn't seeing a lot of progress. And I loved the tribe, and with other people I was seeing progress, a lot of progress, by the way. So it just made me start asking questions about what's hanging people up about getting going. And what I realized was that it was overwhelmed. It was just overwhelmed with all the information. Where do you start? And so, yes, I think when you get to the point where you guys are at, where you've got your formulas going and you start really getting your home apothecary squared away, the next step is starting to learn about the plants and really to start looking at, your personal body and your wellness needs that you have specifically and your family has. And then you can dive deeper into the plants, which is that's part of becoming an herbalist. You just start working with the plants and learn about them. And Shell, you're also right about the fact that gardening hands-on and growing your own medicinal herbs, gosh, it just gives you this, you get a real sense of what the plant, can do for us. You almost can smell it and taste it, and the power of it in the ground. And I know, I started out.
Experience.
It is. And when you stop to think, and I'm getting goosebumps right now, but when you think about, God created all of it, and he said, this is for you to use. And we've allowed ourselves to lose all this wonderful knowledge. But I think a lot of that knowledge is innate in us. I think as human beings, especially the closer we are to the land, we smell the plants. We have a sense. And I think people are just afraid to acknowledge that or to trust it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, trust into
it is.
Feeling because like I said before, 8 of the products I've made are ones that the people I've made these apothecaries for, they've asked for them. So I know there's they want them and they're prepared to take that risk. So I'm just like umphing it up with a bit more first aid.
That's great. Good. Oh, that's awesome.
And I know I'm drinking wine. It's 6:30 in the evening here. I've been running about with my products all day, so it's not 10 in the morning. Don't worry.
That's funny. Yep, you need that resveratrol, right? It's good for you. It helps you relax and de-stress a little. Oh my goodness. Here I am with coffee and I've got a thing of tea and I've got a thing of water, all my liquids. But all right, guys, who else wants to share with us today?
I wanted to just add something to what Shell was saying. My husband has been like my guinea pig, and he always says, I know when she's walking down the hall, she's got something on her mind. He said, I always stand back and say, okay, what now? But with the mullein, for us, it's been a lot of respiratory. And that's what got us, that's what got me interested in to heal our respiratory. And we both do have a lot of pain issues. And he is on a very strong pain medication because he has always had to work very hard physically. And I had very first that was after healing up our respiratory issues, which he was on board with. And we both do very well with teas and with tinctures. And he was like, shouting hallelujah right along with me. And he said, I'm a believer, I'm a believer, I'm a believer. But when it comes to the pain, I tinctured the willow bark. And I feel like when I do the cayenne, which I'm going to upgrade my cayenne, I didn't put ginger in it. I didn't put black pepper, but I had got a hold of your recipe. I was just doing my recipe. I didn't know about your recipe. But once I got into your website and I saw your recipe, I thought, oh, no wonder mine doesn't work as well. But I thought, you know what, I'm going to, because I do Star West Botanicals, and I thought, I didn't know all the stuff when I read your recipe, Heidi. So I thought, I'm going to upgrade it. And I've got one started, but I thought, well, now I know why he doesn't really, he says, it works for like about 10 or 15 minutes. And so he just goes back to his, it's called lidocaine rub or something like that. I forget the name, which it does work very well. And, but it's over the counter. And like I told him, I just would rather us get away from over the counter, but he has to take a prescription pain medication, and he takes up to 4 of them a day sometimes. And so I asked him to take the willow bark tincture, and he said it just does nothing for him.
Yeah.
And he said, I have a different pain level, and he also has to take Cymbalta, which is, they told him it's for pain, but it's also not just for pain, but you understand why the Cymbalta, because he is like in serious mental,
Yeah.
because of his pain level all the time. And he's retired now, so I feel like he can take it easy. But I'm like, is there anything else I was wondering that, I told him about the St. John's wort and other things, but I'm just so like, I know that can't be good to continue. And I feel for him. And they, even the last time you went to the doctor, they told him he had what is it with your liver when it's slightly enlarged?
Oh, is it fatty liver?
Not a fatty liver. No, it's just slightly enlarged.
It's struggling. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and he said, it's fine. I'll be okay. And I'm like, no, it's not okay. And I said,
Yeah.
it's all the medication that you've been on all this time.
Yeah. The
So,
medications ruin our livers, and some medications are extremely toxic and very difficult for our livers to process. And acetaminophen, even, and over the counter, is one of those. Terrible for our livers. And so then when you go to the heavier duty pain medications, it's even worse. And then when you throw in, and I am speaking from my own experience too. I think I've told you guys,
yeah.
with the back problems, the doctor did similar things for me. It was oxycodone and Xanax, and I just couldn't function.
Right.
But you really need to, once I started looking at the source, like, why am I having this pain? What's going on with this? Why do I need anti-anxiety medication on top of it? Once I really started asking some kind of hard questions, and diving in and studying, I realized, I think, and I was getting ready to go have back surgery. That's how bad it was. But what I learned was that, and I'm making my own assumptions based on my own experience in my own body and my own mind, but I would say that 90% of my pain was due to stress. Stress in my life, stress with personal relationships at that time that I was having, very serious ones, stress on the job, stress dealing with teenagers. At the time, I had a stepson who was on drugs, not Joe's. this was a long time ago, but it was very bad. And it was just like, we hold our stress in our hips. So if it's low back pain, I always start asking people, well, what's going on in your life? What's in your head? What's happening with your breathing? What's happening with your relaxation response? Are you able to manage it? There's all of these things to start asking about. And if he, I don't know, I would, and this is not we're kind of getting into consultation realm here, but with your husband, if the lidocaine seems to work, I would delve into those ingredients and see if you can make something stronger. Peppermint, I'm just going to say, is often overlooked as a pain reliever. And Jessica just pointed out that the cayenne salve didn't work for her dad, so she made him an arthritis salve with turmeric and black pepper with the essential oils. And it's a really highly anti-inflammatory combination. So you might want to try that. But peppermint's very cooling, and his body might respond to the menthol. And so depending on, do some research on the herb drug interactions, but I would suggest even going with a 10%, essential oil dilution in the salves and see how that goes. And you can combine, if he's able to take wintergreen essential oil, that's one that if he's on blood thinners, he should stay away from. Okay. Yeah. But I would mix up a few different pain relieving, anti-inflammatory essential oils for him and put it in at a 10% dilution and see how he does with that. Normally I don't recommend a high dilution like that. However, if somebody is on extreme medications for extreme pain, I always ask myself, would I rather take that medication that affects my mind and turns me into a zombie and affects my liver negatively? Or would I rather see how a higher dilution of essential oils goes? You know what I mean? It's like, if you can offset one with the other, that can be so helpful. And the other thing about the plants is that over time they can heal. They can actually get into the body and they help your body heal. Our bodies want to heal naturally.
Yes.
Our bodies are fighting to heal. And here we're taking medications to cover symptoms that are miserable, like pain. And I always wonder, are we getting in the way of our body's natural healing process? And I'm not making a statement one way or the other on that, but it's a question to ask. It's something to be aware of,
Well, to me, it's the energy flow. Our body has a natural path energy flow. And when we interrupt that synergy energy flow, and it's like the pain is there for a reason, and like I've explained it to him, God has this signal for a reason. We need to heal it, not stop it. Yeah. And he understands that. And I've showed him charts and everything. And he said, but I mean, he said, I'm here, I'm willing. He said, but until he said, maybe God will just heal me and I don't have to put up with this anymore. And I'm like, I pray for that day. But, and he said, he's taken some things, but I know that his body is just hurting him so badly. And he said, and until then, he said, and he takes whatever I try to give him. But I think maybe the turmeric, I might try the turmeric, because I know it's all the heavy lifting, all the stuff. He was a foreman, and he has had tremendous responsibility on his shoulders because he was the boss for all those years. And so he's had to take everything on his shoulders. Now he's retired, and I told him, just relax, just relax. Don't do anything. And he's actually gone. He's just going out doing his own thing, because I told him, I said, I'm going to do this. And so, yeah, I'll try to do something. I'll look through your stuff and do something else. But I just feel so terrible because he's been my guinea pig. So I think he'll be open to do other things. I'm sorry, I don't mean to take up all the time.
No, that's
No,
all right. Well, and I
Can
was
I
just going
just
to.
reply to Roxana?
Oh,
Huh?
sure, Shell, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to share with you that not long ago I was on a bottle of Oromorph a week and tramadol every day. And I've
That's what
probably
he
when you,
takes, Shell. He
yeah,
takes
and
tramadol.
I do not know. I say I do not know what's happened. I do, because I'm obviously in the tribe, and obviously it's a deeper issue. I can tell you now, it's very rare if I have a paracetamol, and it's not that long that I've given up. It's only been a few months, and I just could not move for the pain. I think it's supporting all the different things. Like I have a TMJ roller, I have a pain roller. I just deal with all these little things. I'm very, very rarely in pain now. I think it does take time when it's like that. I was on
Yeah.
28 tablets a day plus a bottle of Oromorph.
Oh my
boy, wow.
goodness.
Yeah.
God bless you.
So there's
Wow.
hope.
Yes.
It is
Yes.
a learning journey, and you do have to try things. Some things don't work. The cayenne salve didn't work for me the first time. This time I made it with cloves and ginger and a different essential oil blend. I don't know if that's going to work for me. It's worked for somebody I'd give it to. But if not, I'll just go again and put a different blend in it. It is sort of thing, but you know, have hope, and you will get there and find what he likes. And like, you know, like with the peppermint, maybe it's a cool thing rather than a
Yeah.
hot thing. Yeah, but if ever you want to message me or anything, feel
Okay.
free.
Okay.
That
Yeah,
I
just want
will.
to
We're in
encourage
the
you.
tribe together now. We're in the tribe together now. Hallelujah. Yeah.
And I just want to say, the Ditch the Drugstore gives us a group to start out with, but the tribe continues that group. And like Shell said, there are people, if you get in there and you just interact and ask questions and share what you're doing, share your formulas, and then you get other people coming in with their ideas like Shell just did. It gives you, things get sparked in your mind and your brain, and it's like, okay, I'm going to try this. I think this will work. And when you start working with different people, you end up, this is where, like Shell was just talking about the relationship with the plants and watching the plants and building that intuition, right? You can build that intuition when you're working with people too. And so when you start interacting with your family members and yourself, your own personal body is the first place to start, but you will develop that kind of sense or feeling about what somebody might need. But yeah, and I just want to talk about the warming and the cooling. If you think about like icy hot, which is, a pretty strong pain reliever here. I don't know if they have it in the UK, Shell, but in America, it's very popular. And it's a combination of cold and hot. I don't even know if it's made with essential oils or if it's just all chemicals. I have no idea. But when you combine cooling peppermint with a warming anti-inflammatory like ginger, or like you mentioned, clove, or Jessica up in the comments mentioned black pepper in conjunction with the turmeric, you can really, it's like the synergy of those plants and oils comes together and they work really, really, really well. So when you just use one or two, you might get some good results. But if you don't be afraid to add in a few other things, and make sure you guys are journaling and keeping track of your formulas. But yeah, the tribe is a really neat place to be for that, and for, different health related kinds of ideas and things. But anyway, does anybody else want to say anything? Annie, do you, or Cheryl, or I don't know, OCYF, I don't know who that is, but hey, I'm glad you're here.
I will say something. I feel like I didn't get quite as much done as I had hoped, because this one came. She arrived Tuesday. So
adorable, cute.
Abigail.
Hi.
But so I was able to get a few things done. I have, and I shared in the group earlier too, because I knew I wouldn't be able to wander around and show what we had. But I have a mullein tincture, and I have cayenne oil for a peen salve. Are ready to be strained, but I just haven't gotten to that yet. But I also think one of the things that being in the drugstore has made me more aware just of the plants around me, kind of like Roxana was saying earlier. But, you know, my kids are bringing me little bouquets of weeds out of the yard, and I'm looking at them going, but I could use that. and I can. And so, like, just figuring that out and changing my mindset about, oh, that's not really a weed. It's useful and helpful. And to look into things and find that the Lord has placed in my own backyard the things that are good for my own family. It's just a really neat thing. Like, my kids have ear issues, and, you know, I'm like, okay, well, here's some ground ivy. What's it good for? Oh, look, ears. That the Lord just put that there for us. So that's kind of been an encouraging and exciting mindset shift that I've noticed in myself. Even though I haven't been able to get as much made as I wanted to, the mindset shift has been huge.
Oh, good. I'm so
recognizing.
I'm so glad you said that too, because it is a mind shift change. It really, really is. Like, yeah. And it just, don't you look at your world so much differently, you know, and it's amazing. It's just, and you're right. Everything they say that, what we have around us is really what we need. And I know, like, for me, I'll buy my bulk herbs and things from other places, like, you know, Indian herbs and things like this. But I always wonder, there's got to be something else around here that grows naturally that would serve that purpose. And it's a matter of just learning about the plants and just, you know, it's a lifelong process. It's a lifelong passion. It's a lifelong, you know, just acknowledging that, and how exciting it is that it's never going to get dull or old or boring, because there's always so much more to learn. But anyway, Tanae, did you want to say something else?
Yeah, just that made me think, one of my main focuses and something I've gotten from this is to find everything that I can locally, and then know how to use it, which is what this course has helped me with, is kind of the how to use it and how much. But when we had the bad wildfires, I realized we have what we need here. We have mullein that grows all over the place, and we have hollyhock and stuff like that, and that's just been such an enlightening thing to realize. And then learning about, you know, there's golden seal that we have, and I'm learning. That's one of the things I've been focusing on, is finding places where I can get these things and then grow what I can't find wild. And I've found a place to get elderberry. I've found a place to get goldenrod. I've found a place, you know, yarrows all over, and plantain and mullein, and that's just been wonderful. And then I love being able to share a little bit of knowledge with other people, as you know, if I go on a walk with someone and I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna stop really quick, and, you know, because we're hiking in the woods, and I'm just gonna, like, grab a little bit of this because it's right here, and they're like, wow, what are you doing? And then I get to share and explain, and I think it's wonderful for I love that kind of the ripples of the knowledge. So thank you, Heidi, for dropping that stone so that I can send, you know, just keep sending those little ripples out. It's
You're
really
welcome. I'm glad you're out there sharing, because it's amazing when people realize, if you can just, like, wake them up, like, look, you know, it's so true. Boy. And I just want to say, when you started listing all the plants that you have growing around you, you know, when we start learning about all of the things they can do, and we realize that many of them have multiple uses. Yarrow, my goodness, if I could choose one plant to just have in my yard, yarrow is amazing for so many different things. Sage, which we can grow easily, so many uses and helpers, you know, that sage can help with. Or, there's so many, you know, there's a ton with multiple uses. Plantain, is another one. Comfrey's another one. Chamomile. So yeah,
And mullein.
And mullein.
Yeah, with
absolutely.
the flowers for the ears, and yeah.
The ears, the respiratory, the spine. Mullei's really pretty. It's more powerful than people give it credit for, for sure. Yeah, I don't know. Did I ever? I'll mention. I'll just talk about this really fast, and then we'll share a couple more people, and then I have to hop off. But Heather Savage was she wrote this in the group, and this was a while back because she's been in for a while now, but it was early on. And she pointed out that there was this flower, this weed that kept growing along her walkway, and it would get yay tall. And she was so frustrated with it, and it wouldn't go away. And I think this was right before COVID, the C word, oops, hit. But it turned out to be elecampane. And it's another really wonderful respiratory herb, and it just sprung up out of nowhere. And she was like wowed when she found out what it was. And just it's really, plants are amazing. It's just amazing what God has given us and blessed us with. Does anybody else want to make a share or say something? Yeah, Linda.
I forgot I did do a mix, my elderberry syrup.
Oh, good.
Yes, or my elderberry tincture. This isn't the syrup.
Okay.
I drank the syrup. But this is my elderberry tincture, and I was diagnosed with COPD and emphysema about 5 years ago. The doctor that I had at that time said there really wasn't much else they could give me except a couple of the drugs, that it was just going to get worse and worse and worse. That helps. I cough and I clear all the mucus and I can breathe. It helps so much. It's just incredible for anybody that has respiratory problems like lung problems. That's the thing, the elderberry tincture. And God saw it fit to put 5 or 6 elderberry trees on my daughter's property.
Oh, good.
So
Go
ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I'm glad you mentioned that too, because elderberry is so powerfully supportive of our body's immune response. And when we're dealing with things like allergies or respiratory issues, and I know COPD and emphysema are caused by a number of different things, but oftentimes just by strengthening our immune system and alleviating stress, and small lifestyle tweaks and things like this, our bodies can go to work to help us, heal naturally. But yeah, and I'm sorry if I interrupted you, Linda. Go ahead and.
Oh, I'm into finding out all kinds of different things for the elderberries this year. So it's a gardening, fixing, mixing year for me.
Good. And the other thing is too, is when you stop, like I have a lady who, she didn't join very long ago, and she wrote, and she says, well, when's the next, this is for the tribe. She wrote, when's the next master class coming out? I'm done with everything. And I'm like, oh, she's missing the point on, the herbs. Herbs take a long time to learn about. Elderberry, for example, or mullein, taking a really deep dive into learning about all the things that this plant can do is more powerful than just reading a book and watching a couple videos and going, okay, I know it, because you don't. You really need to experience it, like you are with the elderberry, and like you, Tanae, with the mullein and the different plants. There's so much more to these plants than just reading a book and watching a couple of videos, and you got to do it. You've got to work with the plants.
You said the key word: experience the herb, taste it, grow it. I mean, I know I've got a mullein out there that I got, and I grew it from seed in here in the house, and I had one in the front that died. It grew great the first year, but I've got 3 now out there and I've got that one. I call it my amazing mullein because that one is just it's going to stock now. It's the second year. So, you know, I'm out there every week going, it's going to stock. It's that stock is growing up. My husband goes, this is incredible to watch. And, you get a leaf off, and I'm going to make my own from my own mullein, from my own plant. And I'm going to make I'm not going to buy any more mullein. I told him, even though we have mullein from Star West Botanicals, but we're not going to buy any more mullein and then it will seed itself.
Yeah.
And we'll get flowers. And it's just, I heard somebody say it's so empowering. And it's just so totally amazing and awesome to be able to have your own tincture from your own plant. And I know you, Heidi, you've got lots around your property, but I have a little bitty backyard, and the little plants that I do have, the little echinacea and the little this and the little that, it's just so freaking awesome. And I just love it. I tell everybody, my church, the people that go to my church, they go, we want to come see your backyard. And I'm like, it's nothing like spectacular, but it's all mine. It's all mine.
And if
And
it's filled with the things you love, that's what counts, right?
Yes. And I get to make every year, I get to take some herbs out of my backyard, and I prepare for colds, coughs, flus. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that to me is the most awesome thing. And people will say from my church, like Shelley was saying earlier, they'll call you and they'll say, can you possibly help me out? And I'm like, I'm there for you. I'm there for you. Cough, cold, and flu. That's my thing,
That's
and
great.
It's just really so awesome to know that you could just go to your backyard, not just get a carrot or a bell pepper, but you could get something for, to help people out.
Exactly.
So, okay.
And you know what? You don't, like you said, I'm glad you brought that up about having a small backyard. You do not need a big backyard. You don't really need a whole lot of space. You need a little space. And then the other thing is that if you just go out in the wild areas around you, and they're there, you're going to be surprised at what you find, especially depending on like the area of the country where you live in. We all live in these different places, and to hear people talk about all the things that they found growing and in the wild, or even just in a city park. You have to be careful foraging in a city park, but make sure the stuff's not sprayed, and you can call and ask. But even that, gathering wherever you are is also another, such an empowering thing. Yeah, Linda.
I live in Montana, not far from you.
Okay.
Heidi, and I have a lot of deer, and I have marmots.
Yes.
So I have a small backyard, and so we are container gardening as soon as these sprouts come up. And I have learned how to interspace my herbs with my veggies, because the deer and the marmot do not like the smell of the herbs, and they'll stay away. So that will also protect our veggies.
It will. Yeah, there's great power in companion planting your vegetables with your herbs, or your vegetables if you grow decorative flowers even. But yeah, deer, this is the neat thing about the aromatic herbs. They do repel a lot of insects. The deer, aren't they wonderful? Not only do they help us, they help everything around them. And a lot of them draw bees, good, the pollinators that are helpful. And yeah, it's pretty amazing. But and container gardening. Honestly, I have so many like good sized pots that, we plant in. I don't have to now so much because we have, more land. But no, when I lived in the city, especially when I lived in HOAs where you're not allowed to plant in your on your land. In Las Vegas, Nevada, you're not allowed in some places to plant a tomato in your yard. You're not allowed to, yeah, they will come get you. They will sue you even sometimes. And so just knowing how to use a container, a pot, and you can grow your beautiful tomato plants and your herbs right there in these pots. You can grow garlic, you can grow also medicinal. You can grow so many things in pots, and it's possible. We just need to think outside that box, But, well, does anybody else want to say anything? Yeah. Allie?
I just wanted to say thank you. This has been really interesting. I loved the Ditch the Drugstore because I'd been starting to read and research, and I made a couple things, but I was never quite comfortable enough with it that I wasn't going to, kill my family and friends or something. So this has made me much more comfortable, and I haven't made a ton of new stuff, just, life. But I'm excited to do it now. And I've done more foraging because I've always loved, walking through the forest and stuff, but it never occurred to me that you can do something with those plants. So we were looking for more morel mushrooms, and I was like, oh, wait, there's some mullein. And so I grabbed mullein. I found more plants that I would use than I found mushrooms. And normally I would have been just disappointed, but I was really excited. And, everybody they enjoy laughing at me and teasing me, but they're really excited about it too. And so my family's supportive, and, they'll kind of roll their eyes when I tell them to try something, but they will. And so that's really cool. So thank you. This has been a lot of fun.
You're so welcome. And that's just the first step, people aren't going to jump on board with you right away, but they will over time, they will. They catch the excitement, I think. So does any last call for any more comments, you guys? Lydia or MJ or Susan or Jessica? Anybody else?
I will. I just want to thank you too. I
thank
was
you.
very scared at first, but I have done good. Things didn't show up till this week.
Oh, wow.
But I did make a few things.
Wow, good for you.
And I've had a blast. Thank you very much. I will probably join you in other groups too.
Oh, good. I hope you will, because the tribe is the next step, and it's very affordable, and it's just a great way to keep with the community. One thing I've discovered this is for myself, but also as a teacher for many decades of my life, is that when you have a community, a like-minded community that you can interact with, I was going to say it keeps you strong, but it does. It's like when you go out in the world, there's a lot of doubt. And we were just talking about trusting the plants, but there's a lot of doubt. Maybe I should go back to using, the drugstore drugs or the prescription drugs, or maybe don't those questions go through your mind? They went through mine. Gosh, maybe I need to get back on that blood pressure medicine. Maybe I better listen to the doctor. Maybe I better, it's all the old messages from all of the years, and I'm almost 60 and, almost 59 actually, which is close enough. I start calling myself the next age up, just because it makes, when you get to that point, it's not as hard. But it's just like a mental game I play with myself. Yeah, I'm 60, it's good. So when I'm finally there, it's not so horrifying, I guess.
The next decade.
Yeah, the next decade. But no, I think being in community is huge. And the progress that I see from people who get into the tribe and get into the student group, the content is really great. The course materials are really great, but the student group is where the power lies in your journey, and will accelerate that growth so quickly. And listening to the chats, being on the replays, because you hear this stuff and you can't just hear something one time. you know, it depends for every person what, you know, depending on what kind of a learner you are. But the more times you hear something, read something, try something, or especially experience something, it gets in you and you just know it. Like you just know it. It's inside of you. And that is the gift of, you know, learning all this and being with people who are doing it with you. And I'll just stop right there because
I just
oh
want
yeah,
to say one more thing, and then I know you got to go. But for me, the reason I decided to do this, and I'd watched your videos, and I chatted with you in your comments on YouTube. But this came up on Facebook, and I really prayed about it before I did this because I thought, I thought, I've got an apothecary. I really don't need this. I thought that to myself, but the only real reason that I made the decision to do this is because you really said some significant words, and in our comments were blotted out, and I
oh
knew,
wow,
yeah, and I knew that there was some spiritual forces trying to keep me from making comments. And I knew that you worship the creator and not the plants, that even though the plants are a free gift from our Heavenly Father. And I said to myself, I feel so alone out here trying to do this. And I said, there's a woman out there that is worshiping the same God that I worship. But at the same time, I felt like, and you've said it, I've heard in one of your posts, this Mother Earth is not who we're to worship. And I thought, I need to do this as, like you said, to get with like-minded people. And I told my husband, I said, I work so hard to help people, but I feel like I get such negativity in return. And I'm a caregiver, I'm a caretaker. I help people 3 days out of the week. And I do so much and get little in return. So I thought, I feel like this is a woman that's called by God. And I'm sorry for crying, but
oh, don't be sorry for crying.
I'm
I
just,
cry all the
do
time.
you understand what I'm trying to say though? And I
Yes.
really enjoy that you took this off and put it on a private platform. You and your husband, I really believe, have worked very hard. But I feel almost like a relief coming into this. And I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart because I actually, for the last year, have been struggling very hard. And there's people that come to me for help, and I help them. Sometimes people don't have money, and I know we're supposed to help them if they don't have money, but there's some people that I try to charge, and but I have needed the support so badly. I've needed the support so badly. And then I do still need ongoing learning. And I love it when you say, get your learning on. I love that. That's really awesome. But I just want to thank you so much. And I encourage anybody to come. But there's some people that I just can't talk to because of the way that their mindset is, And I tell them, I'm not that type of herbalist. I refuse to be that type of herbalist. And I believe that all of this comes from the garden, and I know that the Lord, it's straight from the Lord,
Yeah.
So anyway, Heidi, thank you so much. This has really been very uplifting for me, very uplifting to me.
Well, thank you. I'm so glad to hear that. I'm going to be a little vulnerable really fast because I'm just share this. I struggle sometimes sharing. I don't so much anymore, but in the beginning, especially when I started my newsletter, every single week, which has been now about 4 years ago, I really struggled sharing the fact that I was a Christian. I struggled sharing that, encouragement or my thoughts about, hey, the plants are given to us by God, not Gaia or,
Yeah.
and I think we need to respect the earth, of course, but God gave us the earth, and
Yeah.
we're supposed to be stewarding it. The message, the messaging is very similar to what I call them the woo-woos, I guess,
Yeah.
the new agers and the others, that, we all love the earth. We all love the plants, but there's a definite psychological and spiritual, I don't know what you'd say. You have to look at where they come from, and it's God. It is not, the universe. I mean, to me, I think of the universe, and I'm just like, how can they not see that's God? And anyway, but yeah, thank you for saying that, Roxana. And there's just something in my heart and my soul when I've thought about not talking about our creator in all of this in herbalism. There's something that is almost horrified inside of me, and I'm like, no, I've got to just say it. And if people don't like it, they can go away, and they have. Not everybody loves everything I say, so that's.
I know, but
just
you've stayed true, and look how many people God's led to you and aligned with you. Look, you've been faithful, and God's bringing these people to you.
Well, goodness, I hope that more Christians, especially who feel turned off by herbalism because of all of the woo stuff out there that they encounter, and we all know it, we do encounter it, that I hope that they will find a Christian herbalist to learn from, and there's not very many of us. There's a few, and I'm trying to reach out in the communities and find other Christian herbalists to collaborate with and to make friends with. And I have a couple really good friends now who are online, who are trying to do what I'm trying to do. And we're trying to figure out ways to just get the message out better. But, anyway, that's a little.
My daughter was laughing earlier saying, you found a Christian herbalist. Is that not a niche thing?
It's a unicorn. No.
I think as well, if you're Christians, you pray before you make big decisions. So I think a lot of us have prayed before we've stepped into this, and we've got that answer back. Yes, I'm aligned with you. Go forward, which makes it all the more exciting, all the more powerful. You're doing an ace job. Everybody tells you, just take it, get your crown on, be the queen.
Yeah, that is
You've
so
been a
true.
faithful servant. You're so passionate.
Thank you. I try. Don't we all? We all just do our best, and that's all we can do, and hope that we're doing the right things. But God knows our hearts. He knows all of our hearts, and it's all good. It's all going to work out. I'm going to go ahead and just let's see here. Scroll through the comments and make sure I didn't miss any questions or anything. I really appreciate you guys for being here. It's really nice to interact with you guys during a Ditch the Drugstore round. And I'm thinking maybe I should do a middle of the round Saturday group like this, just to do a check-in. That might be a good idea too. You guys can let me know what you think of that. But I think I've talked about everything. Tanae says herbs work really well in conjunction with little lifestyle shifts. Yeah. I was diagnosed with one of the popular pain and autoimmune disorders, plus some other stuff, and I really needed to make shifts in stress, mindset, and gently moving my body every day in order to prep my body to be receptive to herbs. Long story, but I currently only use 2 medications for hormone replacement and no pain meds. That's awesome, Tanae. That's really, really, really great. Another student in the tribe, Courtney, she's a nurse, she's an RN, And she turned to herbs. I'm not sure how long ago, but she joined us, I don't know, maybe a year or two. I'm not sure how long it's been, but she's been taking herbs for a long time, and also I think suffers from a similar kind of a thing. But she had to have some surgery done, and so the doctor told her, get off everything, all the herbs, everything. And when she stopped taking the herbs, she felt such a huge negative difference in her body. I mean, it was, and we all have different sensitivities to different things, but yeah, it was pretty amazing. And I'm really glad that she said that. I was sad that she had to feel like you don't want to lose your herbs, they support us so well. Let's see here. All right, name drawing. Joe wrote down all the names. So I'm going to pull them blind. Oops. First one's Lydia. Woohoo. So all I need is your email address, and then I will. So just, you could put that in the chat inside the student group, and I'll get you your gift card. Next one I pulled was Shell. So, all right, here goes the third one. I wish I could just do this for everybody, but I go broke. Allie, you're the third. So yeah, just chat me in the chat group with your email addresses, and I will get these sent to you via email, okay? And then in the student group, if you guys want to post your pictures, your videos, or say something about what the course has done for you, or just to help people get a sense of why it's important to do this, then that would be really wonderful. But all right, you guys, well, I guess we'll sign off. And I love you all, I really do. And I hope that if you haven't joined the tribe, I hope you will, if it seems like the right thing to do right now. And don't forget to use that coupon. It really, really significantly reduces the monthly price and saves you a lot of money over a long period of time. So anyway, I'll hope to see you in there if you're not in there already. And if not, you guys as students of Ditch the Drugstore, you can go through as many rounds as you want to, okay? So when I open up the next round, come join us. All right.
How long do we have to use the coupon?
You know what? I don't know. I haven't really thought much about it. I added it in this last time. I think when I did the other round of Ditch the Drugstore, the previous one, the second one, I left it in for, I think, 2 or 3 weeks after the round, or Ditch the Drugstore ended. So I don't know. I'll probably remember to take it out at some point, but it's in there right now. But it's just good to jump right in at the end of this. Okay, where do we find the coupon? So it's in the course materials here, and it's 25 friends. And that's the coupon. Oh, that went to Cheryl directly. I don't know why there. Let me go to everyone. So the coupon is 25 friends. And the website, do you guys want me to give you the link? There's different ways you can sign up for it. And if you want to, I know some people don't like subscriptions. They just don't like them. So I do have it set up now to where you can just like own the tribe, if that makes any sense. But let's see here. I'm sorry, I'm just finding the link. Okay, so that you can just go here and just read more about it if you want to. Here it is. And just know what it's all about. But truly, you guys, the community is huge. The community's like everything. So anyhow, I guess I will see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye, guys.